There we go. There we go. It's a nice cool morning. We've had our morning walk. And this video is a direct reply and response to Kerry, Cassidy and to Ashayana Dean about the progress that they have made, the wonderful progress in following the dots and piecing together a real history of humankind on this world. I want to thank the two of you for the work that you do. The reason that I can do this, that I can talk about this, is I am authorized by Harmonious Universe 1, not at the galaxy, not by the Christos founders, not by the Anu Elohim, but by HU1, to clarify some of these issues and matters of bullying that are occurring on this world and have been occurring for a long time, too long. All right, now most people who are born and grow up and live in this world know this book, okay, the Holy Bible. And it's the one everybody knows. But what they don't know is that this is a summary of a contrived and staged drama. Okay, it's not a real or natural history as historians and naturalists and archivists will present. There are natural histories. The Culbrin is a natural history. The Oaspi, although very, very arcane, is a natural history. The Urantia book, like the Bible, is contrived, basing its truth on dogma and doctrine. But this book right here is the only natural history that we humans have access to. And having been inscribed and dictated and taken down in a sequence, it's very, very hard to follow. But I commend and praise Ashayana Dean for the devotion and the work that she has given to this, the only profane record of human existence that we have. All right. Now, the reason I can do this is because my biological DNA is descended from King Edward VIII of Britain. And of course, that and $3 will buy me a cup of coffee. But my soul is descended from Ereshkigal, Gil, the daughter of King Nanar. King Nanar inspired the Oaspi and was behind the Book of Mormon and the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. And Nanar died, unfortunately, in 1913, and he is now reincarnate as a small boy. He's got a long way to go to recover what he knew, all right? And that's why I can speak of this, because I'm not merely human. Now, the human problem, going on for as long as it has been staged out of treaties that humanity never consented to. The El Anu Treaty, which was crafted after the Lyran Wars 600,000 years ago, just prior to the third seeding of human races on this world, just prior to the Lyran's migration here to Atlantis. That treaty is an abortion of human life. It calls for races to be categorized according to intellectual superiority or inferiority, and it calls upon the, quote, superior races to bully and cull and manipulate the inferior races. That sort of treaty doesn't belong in a civil society, but it was conveyed and its terms and conditions reinforced again by President Eisenhower in 1954, by Johnson in 1964, and by President Bush in the Tau 9 Treaty of 2005. So under the terms and conditions of ET treaties, humanity, the people, are merely consumable products. And that presumption is not civil, and it is not appropriate for a civil planet. Because as we see in this third density, third dimension physical planet, every creature has its place and its time. And for higher powers to summarily poison, destroy, ruin, waste, test, try, and bully every sort of creature on this world is simply neither a civil, a decent, nor even a sane thing to do. It's not good. What the Anunnaki, Zionist, legalist partisans have done here has not been good. So what can the people do about it? Essentially nothing. We, here in the circle of the ice wall container on a lake where land masses poke up out of the lake of seas, the people who have somehow survived this long are the littlest people who were victimized by the Nephilim to the point that the inhabited world of some 6 billion of people was annihilated. We have this problem of scale of human bodies. Human bodies in scale can be 1 foot tall, they can be 6 feet tall, they can be 9 feet tall, they can be 12 feet tall, they can get even bigger. All right, so the Nephilim around 12 feet, the Bigfoot, the Anunnaki, and the Agarthians are right around 7 to 10 feet tall. And we, the little people who are encircled in the ice wall and the lake of seas, are the littlest people. And it's really hard to understand how little is. If you've seen Faces in the Clouds, you understand how large a face can morph into. All right, we truly are tiny. The story of Gulliver's Travels is not a fable. Okay. Scaling is important and scaling is difficult. The larger people, the Tartarians included, have a great deal of difficulty living with little people because scaling things for themselves means that the little people can't use it. All right. The same problem exists with other world travels. Other worlds have different scales also. They also have the variation of breather versus non-breather, vocal and verbal versus non-vocal and non-verbal, that we have here, particularly with the deaf and with the simians and gorillas, who are just about as intelligent as humans, but have no larynx, so they can't speak and they can only learn sign language. We have that problem too. We have the profound problem of too many languages, too many standard vocabularies, and no interpretation function to coordinate between language and language so that translations are actually precise and correct. And of course, AI is part of that problem because artificial intelligence is based on binary digital technology, which is incapable by its definition of expressing analog prime number precise meanings. So we have the problem of language. Now, where can we go with this? The people are becoming aware that there is something fundamentally and basically wrong. There is something wrong going on here, and the left is concerned about what it's doing to the people, and the right is concerned about what it's doing to the ability of people to solve problems. Because our problem solving occurred during the Renaissance, and now we're reverting to doctrines and dogmas because the problem solving was overturned and overrun by the protocols of the learned elders of Zion and its Zionist legalist authors. So where are we? As the daughter of Ninar, I am negotiating with Enki, who's the father of my son Nigashita, to explain to him and to the Anunnaki minority at this point, there aren't that many of them anymore, that the tactical bullying and premeditated ruination of this life space is an indecent, uncivil process that we humans would call off the rails. It's off the rails. It's not how intelligent, intellectual, technologically savvy people deal with anything, all right? What we're seeing, as Mike Adams has very carefully laid out in the video that I'll put down below, Mike Adams points out the methodical and premeditated terraforming of this world to ruin it for all the life forms that have come to domicile here. Mike Adams' account of the deliberate Anunnaki terraforming is not reassuring at all right? And that terraforming must be halted until some new treaties are agreed upon, because the little people have been victimized until what's going on in the United States is 45,000 people per year commit suicide. Suicide as an outcome of civil order is an indicator that the civil order has failed to keep order and to make life tolerable. A top-down pogrom for turning a world into a living nightmarish hell is not what's appropriate in this new age of Aquarius. So I'll do what I can, but of course I am shadow banned everywhere because the story I tell is so totally unfamiliar to anybody. When I point out that every word out of NASA is coming from Nergal, my ex-husband, who, as Anunnaki, contrives marvelous visualizations and stories of how things might be, but that's not how they are, baby. All right. NASA never speaks a word of what's true, what's real, or what's correct in the universe. And that's Nergal's bailiwick. That's what he's doing for the, quote, evolution of mankind. Jerk that he is. And I can say that. Okay. So I'm trying to negotiate but being shadow banned at Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and having limited time to keep explaining the situation over and over, I'm not making any headway. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. So I wanted to, again, thank you, Kerry, Cassidy, and Ashayana Dean, for the marvelous work that you've done. And I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do. But as you know, our situation as a human race is rather bleak at the moment. And although the chief executive, President Trump, is a man with a tremendous amount of savvy, he knows where the bodies are buried, and he knows who's leading the charges, and he has a method for taking down the pedophiles and pedivores and the drug runners and the regime changers. Okay, he's just one man, and he's 73 at this point. So our planetary sovereign Yahweh, who is the one responsible for the Bible story, he has been overlooked, intimidated, and shouted down the whole time. And he is a biologist. He is a scientist, not a sociologist. He gave us a version of simple common law called the Mosaic Law that makes common sense. If you do a good task, you get a good outcome. If you do something harmful, you have to be corrected. If you avoid doing something bad, you could get a good outcome. This is all about laws of cause and effect. This is not doctrine. This is not dogma. This is not religious teachings even. This is plain, ordinary causes and effect, which the Christian church has bent over backwards to discount, demean, and bury. All right? Makes it very difficult to participate with religions in which the habitual thinking is based on fables and myths and dogmas and doctrines, and they don't open their eyes to see what's true. And this is what we're facing. So thanks again, Kerry and Ashayana Dean, the Yellow Rose of Texas. And I'll see you soon, and we'll talk about this some more. And if you'd like to publish a book, I can do that. I used to publish doctoral dissertations for PhD candidates at the University of California. I did that for about 10 years. So I know the Chicago Manual of Style pretty well. We'll get there from here. We all just have to say our prayers. You know what prayers are? Prayers are telepathy. And the exact frequency that your thoughts form gets sent out, and you see if you can meet somebody with your thoughts. It's an interesting idea. Give it a try. Bye-bye.